Nice. Okay, so come just to sit on the very tip of your cushion, just so that your hips are slightly higher than your knees is where you're looking to be. And then let's just start by closing the eyes. Breathing in, breathing in, moving forwards, you're just rocking forwards. And as you breathe out, just rocking back. So you can begin to round the shoulders, drop the head down. Breathing in again to come forwards. We're just rocking forwards and back. And let your movement match the whole of your breath. So you come all the way forwards and all the way back. This is just really lovely for the pelvis. A nice release for the spine. Also send some loving, strong thoughts to Sophie. Sophie was with us in the group just for a month, and then her waters broke yesterday. So she's currently booked in for an induction, but hoping everything gets going before then. So just sending Sophie lots of love, lots of strength. Hoping for another lovely positive story and the kind of birth that she would like to experience. So continuing with that rocking forwards and back. And again, this is a really lovely movement to do during labour. It's relaxing, so you can obviously do it when you wake up in the morning, anytime you feel a bit panicky or before bed. Even if you just feel like you're getting a little bit stressed and you'd like to let go of that stress. It's a really lovely thing to do. And coming to your central position and just rocking in a full circle, in whichever direction feels good. We'll go both ways. Just see wherever you naturally start to move first. Again, just feeling the pelvic bowl, as it were, rocking around in that circle. You can either keep the eyes closed and just let the head move around as well. It's actually one of the fastest ways to get yourself into the zone, is just to take away the visual stimulus and truly let your head go. It's one of the reasons why dancers look so amazing and so quickly in the zone, because they just really quickly get themselves there by closing their eyes and letting their head move, and then changing direction, opposite way from which you started. One way might feel a little bit odd compared to the other. That's okay. Sometimes your baby is lying more at one side than the other, so you can really feel that. And then coming back to your central position. Just removing your cushion from underneath. Walking your hands forward so you can come onto your knees. And then you can either place your cushion between your buttocks and your heels, just sitting back. Grab hold of your strap if you have one. If you don't have a strap, again, you can use a sock or any item of clothing that you happen to have around. And I'll just turn around so that you can see what I'm doing clearly from where you are as well. Okay, so just taking the strap into your right hand, first of all, you just need to have enough of it so that you can reach it with your opposite hand. So you can start off with a longer amount of strap, and then if you need to, you can obviously shorten it. So let's inhale, taking our right arm up overhead, and exhale, just dropping the strap down behind you. You can tuck the right elbow to be close in beside the head and keep the head upright so you're not looking down. And just let that strap dangle. And let's raise the left arm up on an inhale. And as you exhale, wrapping it all the way around and taking hold of that strap wherever you can. You might be able to get it close enough that you can touch fingers, or that you can interlace fingers, or even that you can hold the entire hand. And if you can't, just hold on to the strap. And really walking the lower hands up so that you are opening up through the chest. And relaxing everything that you can. So if your buttocks have lifted up off your heels, relaxing them back down. Keeping your head straight. Lifting up through the sternum, through the breastbone, so you can feel the length up the front of the body. And even though your fingers are gripping to hold on, you can relax slightly through the fingers, let go of any that don't need to be doing the holding, and then just gently let them rest back down where they were. And this is the same as in labour, just noticing where you can begin to release tension that you don't need to be holding on to. If your pelvis is tipped forwards or back, then really just releasing. You can have a slight curve in the lower back and then come back to upright. So you can really feel the pressure of your heels into the buttocks. And if you can, seeing if you can shorten the distance between those hands, between those fingers. Breathing all the way into the body so you can still feel the ribs flare. This also helps create more space in the lungs for you. Creates more space for your lungs. And then whenever you're ready, on an exhalation, just release the strap through your upper hand, taking your top arm back up. Give it a little shake all the way down. So if you're waving to all your fans, and then release that arm back down, still leaving the other one behind your back. Just gently use your knuckles to massage the space between your shoulders and the whole way down your spine. And then let's swap over. Handy that you already have the strap now in your other hand. So let's inhale up. And if your arms are a little bit uncomfortable, again, just shake them out, to give them a little squeeze. You're obviously holding a little bit of extra fluid in your arms than I am when you're pregnant. So just squeeze up the arms. And then let's come to the left arm. So inhaling up and exhaling. Again, just adjusting that elbow so it's close in beside the head. Relaxing enough that you can feel the chest drop back down whilst keeping the sternum lifted. So we're not tense up, we're just relaxed, but the breastbone proud to the front. Let's take your opposite arm, inhaling and exhaling to twist round. Grab hold of your strap wherever you can. And just allow yourself to go through the same process, settling the buttocks down, relaxing the weight onto the heels. Keeping the breastbone lifted, the jaw soft. You can open your mouth, give a little wiggle with your lips or your tongue. Pull all the funny faces that you can. It's a lovely way to soften through the jaw. Let's give a nice big sigh out. A really good way to release tension. Again, releasing any fingers that are not doing the holding, and then just popping them back on. So they're resting, but they're not holding. You can curl your lower back out, looking down towards your bump, and then come back to upright. So you can just check if you've been curved one way or the other. And then whenever you're ready, inhaling, and on your exhale, just release that upper arm and take it back down. And give a little massage between the shoulder blades with your back hand, massaging all the way back down through the spine. And just pop your strap off to one side. Give your hands a little rub together so they're nice and warm. And let's place your left hand onto your baby bump, your right hand onto your heart. And close your eyes and just tuning into your baby, tuning into your breath. Sending love down to your baby. Sending relaxing thoughts down to your baby. Knowing and trusting that if this session makes them do somersaults or kung fu fighting, it's just because they can feel your muscles relaxing and extra space for them. It's not because they're protesting against yoga. And then let's just gently rub the heart center, rub your belly, whichever way feels natural. And release your hands back down. Just moving your cushions or anything that you've got in the way out to the side. Let's come on to all fours. If you need to add a blanket for underneath your knees or a cushion, you can go ahead and do that now. Just take the knees to about hip width apart and drop down onto your elbows. Again, really taking your time. So each movement from one to the other, from one transition to a different posture, is a chance for you just to find as much comfort and to move as slowly and mindfully as you can. And then let's just move the hands forward. So we're beginning to make the forearms straight, and you can feel your armpits dropping down towards the floor. You can let your forehead rest on the floor if it naturally reaches. If it doesn't, you can just keep your head and your neck in alignment with your spine. And again, noticing the sensations you feel in the body, you might want to just move your elbows out slightly to the side so that you can melt the heart closer down to the earth. And notice if you've curled your toes. If you have, relax the top of your feet so they're just resting onto the mat. If you need to move your knees wider apart to accommodate your bump, going ahead and doing that too. Always listening to your own body, so trusting that whatever I share with you will keep you safe. Also finding comfort in each pose. So keep your tailbones high. And then whenever you're ready, just bending at the elbow, walking one hand and then the other back in. And then slowly pushing yourself back up. Bringing your knees together. Feet together, ankles and knees together. Taking your hands to rest underneath your shoulders. Breathing in, and on your exhalation, just dropping your hips out to the right, looking out over your left hand, diagonally past your left hand, breathing into the center. And breathing out to the side, looking to the opposite side. Again, moving with your breath. And remembering that with each exhalation, you can hug your baby in towards you. That just helps you to protect your belly, the muscles in your belly. Also gives your back some extra stability. Just coming side to side, as if you're slow motion wagging your tail. Think a great big Jurassic Park tail. And just once more to each side. And back to the center. Separate your knees back out to hip width apart. Breathing in on your exhalation, just taking your right foot forward. And bending at the knee, making sure, as always, that your knee is not overextending that ankle. You can have both your hands flat down or just resting onto your fist, onto your knuckles. And just rocking forwards and back from here. Again, if you've been suffering from pelvic girdle pain, then just working slightly less forward and back. So just reducing the distance you're going forwards and back so that you're keeping your pelvis nice and level. And just working within the range that feels good to you. If this is already a lovely stretch, then just stay exactly where you are. If you would like to increase it some more, just taking your right arm to your right thigh. And then you can inhale up, raising your left arm up overhead. So coming into a high lunge. And if you want to, you can raise your right arm up so both arms are up. Still just rocking forwards and back. Drop your shoulder blades down your back so you're not suddenly hugging your ears. And this time as you breathe in, really shoot the arms up even higher if you can. And on your exhalation, let's open up with the left arm. Look out over your left hand. You can stop with the forwards and back, just gazing back at the left hand. You can also rest your right forearm onto your right thigh. That gives you a little bit more stability. And when you're ready, sweeping that back hand forwards and returning both hands down to the ground. Just coming back to that rocking. Now let's walk the hands back towards the body, slide that front heel forward so you're getting a nice stretch up through the hamstring. Breathing into the hamstring, just sending lots of love, lots of breath, lots of energy to the back of the right thigh. If when you're here, if it feels more comfortable to have the fingertips of one hand on the floor and one hand supporting your belly, then go ahead and do that too. And then whenever you are ready, just walking the hands forwards, taking the sole of the right foot back down, and then let's just draw that right leg back. Swapping the hands across to the left, breathing in. And on your exhale, stepping your left foot forward. Now, if you've done lots of yoga before, you'll know that often we move forward like that on the inhale, but for prenatal, we move forward on the exhale because that gives you more space for your bump, which is easier. And again, just rocking forwards and back, checking that knee doesn't splay over the ankle. Relaxing the toes of the back leg, of the back foot, so that they're not curled under. Just rocking forwards and back. Now let's take the left hand, the left forearm to rest on the left leg. Inhaling up with the right arm and then taking both arms up into the high lunge. Again, just rocking forwards and back, releasing through the shoulders, keeping the sternum high. Relaxing the left forearm to the left thigh. Let's sweep the right arm back and gaze into the palm of the right hand. And if for any reason that feels like too much of a stretch for you on one side, you can also just keep that arm upright and look up. But if you can open wide, nice stretch across the front of the chest. And then sweeping the back arm forwards, both arms up. And on your exhale, both arms back down to the ground. Just returning momentarily to that forwards and back. And walking the hands back towards your right knee, extending the left foot forwards. So getting that lovely big stretch through the left hamstring. Relaxing everything that doesn't need to be stretching the hamstring. So paying attention to what that is. It's perhaps the toes of the right foot, giving them a wiggle and relaxing. Relaxing through the right calf, the right knee, the right thigh. It's still active, but it doesn't need to be tense. See if you can send relaxation and softness to the fingertips, to the hands, to the forearms, to the shoulders, to the face, to the neck. Letting everything else be loose and limp like a rag doll. Just the muscles that need to be working, doing the work. And then let's walk the hands forwards, bending to the left knee. And drawing that left knee back in. Separating the knees wide. Again, nice and slow, toes can be touching. And stretch yourself down into a child's pose, either using the hands for your forehead to rest on, or your hands shooting forward and your forehead down. See if you can deepen your breathing here. A lovely deep breath in, feel the ribs flare. Give a yawn or a slow relaxation. Yawn back out through the mouth, releasing through the breath. And then walk the hands back up, taking the buttocks back to the heels. Let's Breathe in up to the throat. Turning the palms the other way, extending forward. So you can feel the back between the shoulder blades opening up. Inhaling to take the arms up. And exhaling, just releasing out to the side. And hands back down. Taking a sip of some water if you've got some there. And then we're going to come to your chair or the back of your sofa or chair if you have one. I'm just going to use the basket here for what we're going to do. It's just a variation of the dog against the wall, but to show you, you can also use it in lots of different environments. You don't always have to do this against a wall. So if you have a chair, then just turning your chair around so that the seat is away from you and the back of the chair is in front of you. And if it's a normal sofa chair or a sofa itself, then again, just resting on the back of it. So for this, we just take our knees back, take our hands forward, stretched out, and then really let ourselves drop down into that space in the middle. So obviously I'm on my knees because this is low, but you can also still be standing and just rest here. So as a general gauge, what's good for you to do is to put your hands straight out in front of you at shoulder width, take them down to the top of the chair, whatever surface you're resting on. And then from there, just begin to relax and lower through that space. So you will feel your bump obviously drop through that space, your chest drop through, a lovely stretch in between the shoulder blades. Try not to let your head drop down completely. Sometimes that strains down to lower back. So you can just keep the head in line with the hands. So find yourself looking slightly forward, or you can look straight down, just keeping the head and the spine in alignment. Sending your tailbone far away, so you can really feel the length through the spine. And this is a lovely one to do with the kitchen worktops while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. And you're just hanging out waiting for anything to cook. It's a lovely big stretch. It's amazing what you can do while the toast is in the toaster, or the bread is in the toaster. And whenever you're ready, either walking your knees or your feet back in, depending on how you've been positioned. Ripple up through the spine, lower your hands either to the floor, just drop down as you ripple through the spine. And then back round the other way. Let's come slowly up to standing. So again, taking your time, especially when you're coming from a facing down to a standing upright, sometimes that can make you feel a little bit dizzy. So just taking your time, leaning on something if you need to, so as you come back up to standing. Let's give the hands a little bit of a shake out, the hips a little bit of a shake out. My neighbours are getting a good view because I left the blinds open. They'll be wondering what's going on. And then if you can, come to a door, preferably one that no one's going to walk into, or come to the wall. Just place your hand, I'll stand back to show you first of all, your hand at shoulder height, and then make sure that you are level with that hand in a nice straight line. And then walking the inside foot forward, one full step, quite an exaggerated step, and then bend through the knee. Should feel a lovely stretch on the side of the chest, possibly also a little bit into your upper arm. And your other side, just let it be loose again. Maybe you support your bump if that feels good, or hand on your hip, or hand by your side. But either way, let it be inactive in what it's doing. It can be passive. You can also, while you're here, stretch your back calf. So if you keep your feet parallel, then that also means you can stretch into the calf muscle. So at the same time, we're having a nice diagonal stretch of the outside leg calf muscle and the inside arm and the pec. Again, keeping the sternum lifted, the head as if you've got that cord coming through the center. And whenever you're ready, just release to the front knee, through the back leg, and swap round. to the other side, noticing the difference between the two sides and the difference that you can already feel. Placing your palm on the wall at shoulder height, walking forwards with your inside foot. You can take your back leg back a little more if you want to increase that. Again, if you have any pelvic girdle pain, don't separate the legs too much. So you can just come to a slightly lesser stance. And then letting your weight sink into that front foot. So you're feeling that lovely stretch. And just notice if you can see in a reflection or in the screen, just notice if your inside shoulder is raised up. If it is, just lower your hand slightly so that you're not suddenly popping up one side or the other. Again, feet parallel, so you can bend in the front knee. Lovely stretch for the calf at the back. And looking forwards. Either hand to rest on your baby, on your hip, or just loose by your side. And releasing through the back leg, stepping forward and releasing both hands, just giving them a little shake out. Take your feet to slightly wider than hip width apart, taking your hands to your hips or to your bump. It looked like I was doing the Macarena there. And then just start to rotate through the pelvis. Nice big hip circles. And let's go to the opposite direction. You can also just let your head and neck be loose. Again, this helps you to quickly get into the zone. You can just close your eyes and let yourself move. Really helps you to just go within to that quiet space. And then coming back to the center. Walking your feet slightly closer together. Just beginning to walk your hands down your thighs, ignoring my snowy knees from the rug. And then walking your hands back up through the thighs, really letting the knees bend, just as if you were having a silly dance with yourself. And back up. And let's come back down to a high kneeling. So taking your fingertips back down to the floor, you can bend down through the left knee first of all, and then take your right heel and make it in alignment with your left knee. I'll come back a little bit, just as close as I can without touching the wall. So right knee in line with the left heel. Now we're just going to rock to the side. Now this can feel quite weird for your pelvis. It's not a movement that you naturally come into. So if it isn't comfortable, and everybody's pelvis hip arrangement slightly specific to you and all of the different range of movements that you usually do. So if this isn't comfortable, then take that foot forwards or back. Just see where it feels good. Mine, as it happens, is okay in line with my knee, but go with what feels good for you. And again, if you need to hold your baby bump, sometimes for comfort, sometimes to say hello, sometimes just to feel that connection, just rocking forwards and back, but side to side. If this feels good and you would like to mix it up a little, then you can come into, do take your hands to your hips for this, a little bit more of a circle. This just really helps to open up part of the pelvis that isn't normally encountered in normal exercise or normal movement. And then just take your hands to the floor, bring that leg back in, and let's swap to the other side. So your left heel in line with your right knee. And again, if you're not comfortable being upright, you can take your hands down to the floor, just go slightly diagonally to the opposite side so that you really are getting a lovely stretch, or just keep your hands up. So you're facing forward, but you're rocking off to that side. Going as slowly or as quickly as you feel you want to. And again, you can come into that circle. If that feels good, you might find lots of sticky points where your body's just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And if it does, just imagine you're sending the WD-40 or the coconut oil, the olive oil, wherever you need to send in there. And you can go in the opposite direction too. And then releasing your hands back down. Just bringing that knee back into the center. And then sitting back on your heels so you can take a cushion once more to be between your heels and your buttocks. Just closing your eyes. You can have your hands gently resting on your bump or resting on your lap. You can just shuffle gently side to side so the buttocks find their place on the heels, lifting up through the breastbone. On your exhale, just drop your chin down to the chest and back to center. Again, on the exhale, chin down to chest. Back to center. On your next exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Back to the center. Left ear to left shoulder. Back to center. And once more to each side, just taking your time. And back to the center. We're going to come into the golden thread breath now, and then to final relaxation just after that. So for this breath, just stay exactly as you are if that's comfortable. If it isn't comfortable and you already want to move into lying on your side or propped up on your chair, then go ahead and do that now. Golden thread is a beautiful breath to use at any point in life. I use it often. And also during labour, you can use it, you can actually use it for both up breathing and down breathing as an alternative if you want to. You just do it slightly differently. So I'll talk you through both. So for the golden thread breath, you have really, really soft lips and ever so slightly apart, just as if you could only slide a tiny little piece of paper between the lips, so just as thin as that. So we're just breathing in through the nose. And as you breathe out, just breathe out really gently through the lips. So you're not trying to have any force. This is how you would do for the upbreathing, the first stages of labour. So you're just breathing in through the nose and really softly, gently back out through the mouth. So you can continue with that breath while I just explain to you how it works. So when we do the 4-8 breath or the 4 and a longer exhalation breath, this essentially is doing something similar in that it will always make your exhalation longer than your inhale. You don't even need to try to make that happen because you are breathing out through your mouth and you have a tiny little space for the air to come out. Then it takes longer for that in-breath, which is breathed in with both nostrils, to be able to be breathed back out through the mouth. So even just that alone helps you to get into the zone. So you're breathing in through the nose. And that long, slow breath back out through the soft lips, soft parted teeth. As you get more and more relaxed, this also might lead to that slightly like pufferfish sound, that kind of with the lips. Again, that's just a softening through the body. And the reason we call it the golden thread breath is that it's really lovely to imagine, and you don't have to have golden thread, imagine anything that makes you feel relaxed, calm, and yet powerful. Just imagine that you have a piece of, like a bobbin of golden thread within your mouth. And with each out breath, you are sending that golden thread, like spiraling, willowing, billowing back out into the room. And the reason that we can take ourselves to a deeper state of relaxation and imagine ourselves getting more and more relaxed and further away from whatever sensations we're experiencing in the body, then we can imagine that thread just reaching perhaps an arm's length in front of you and then a couple of meters out to the wall, out of the room. If you know the geography of the area that you're in, you can see that thread billowing out of the house or the building, down the street or over the car park. You just keep sending the thread further and further away with each out breath, always taking your awareness to the tip of that thread so that you really feel the distance between your physical experiences and where your mind is. So you're not stopping your body from experiencing anything, you are encouraging it to let go, encouraging it to relax, and just allowing yourself to drop into that space. This is a lovely one to practice before bed. If you have any appointments that you feel apprehensive about, it's a really good way just to practice using your hypnobirth breathing to settle you and relax you at that point. So just doing 3 more cycles of that breath. If you're already in your comfortable relaxation position, then staying with the breath. If you need to move, just doing another 2 cycles now. And then when you do come to change position, keeping your eyes closed if it's safe and if you feel comfortable, and just lowering yourself down to your position of relaxation for the next few moments. So taking the time to be comfortable, keeping your eyes closed or allowing them to close over now if they haven't already. And just as in labour, really making the time to make yourself comfortable. None of this I'm sitting on an aeroplane, I'll just cross my legs and hope I don't need to go to the loo till that person next to me does. This is your time, special time for you and your baby, both now and in labour. So doing with everything you can to be as comfortable as you can all of the time. This is not a time to hold on to your Sunday best when it comes to relaxation. Use all of it. Now I'm going to run through a list of positive words. You might see these words in your mind, or you might just hear them. It doesn't matter. You might even have an image of what that word represents for you. Just hear the words that I list. And if a word of your own pops up, that's fine too. Silence. Calm. Softness. Loose. Relaxation. Confidence. Power. Belief. Faith. Trust. Flexible. Open. Enjoy. Comfort. Relief. Willingness. Release. Breathing. Presence. Focus. Softness. Releasing more and more. And perhaps one or two words stuck out to you as I mentioned them. If they do, just keep those words in your mind, perhaps repeating them over and over, seeing the image that you saw, or just hearing the sound in the way that you heard it. And just begin to watch without interfering what your word does, whether it changes in some way. Does your image or the word get bigger or smaller? Does it move from side to side or up and down? Not trying to stop it, not trying to make it do anything, just watching your word. As if you were just watching that word like it was on your screen or a movie. And as you watch your words, your mind might shift to other thoughts. You may start to notice any other sounds around you. Just taking your mind gently as you would lead a child back home. Taking your mind and your consciousness back to your word. Just watching and settling with that word. The power of this relaxation is just in the simplicity and its innocence. Perhaps your word disappears, and if it does, that's okay. Just notice the space that your word left behind. And dropping into that space whenever you're ready, bringing your word back to you. Bringing your awareness back to you. And for the next few moments, just allow yourself to stay with your word with your eyes closed. Not interfering, not trying to change your experience, just watching that word, whatever it's doing. And whenever your attention is pulled elsewhere, just bringing your attention back. You can still continue with the golden breath, the golden thread breath, if that feels good. Just breathing in through the nose and back out through thinly parted lips. And this will take you to a really deep, deep place of relaxation. So just gauging how deeply you want to allow yourself to relax right now. And know that whenever you're ready, in a few moments' time, you simply begin to bring your awareness back to your fingers and your toes. But for now, just staying with the breath if that's what feels good. Staying with your words. And whenever you are ready, taking your awareness all the way back to the body. And for now, I'll leave you in that quiet, restful place. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May you and your tiny treasures have a beautiful night's sleep. Lots of love. Bye bye for now.